My husband has slept with 72 women till now, except his own wife. Yet he refuses to leave me. But when I filed for a divorce, I was left shocked to know the real reason behind his actions.
Hello, Mrs. Scott.
Where is Mr. Scott? I have an appointment with my husband.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Scott. He's in the middle of something. Ed asked me to come down and...
Breaking news! Ronald Scott and Emily Taylor spotted at the Bellagio. Is he again cheating on his wife? They look so cute together. Netizens are going crazy. Next up on the show.
Dan Wright is in the middle of something.
Can I get you a coffee or some water, Mrs. Scott?
The truth was that Mr. Scott never did intend to show up. It had always been this way.
Mrs. Scott?
Please, Sam, it's fine. Just take a seat. That is just like him.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Mrs. Scott? Mr. Scott has another appointment in the afternoon with...
I don't need to know his schedule anymore.
Sam was surprised. He always used to ask for Mr. Scott's schedules. He couldn't remember when she had lost interest in Mr. Scott.
Please pass this on to Mr. Scott. I've signed the papers. I can go to the registry for the divorce anytime at his convenience.
This was the first time that Kate felt relieved since she got married. During the first year of her marriage with Ronald, she had lived a dream life. In the second year of marriage, she acted like a nag, scolding and swearing with hatred at the women who surrounded her husband. In the third year, she learned a truth that she was not supposed to know. It had been almost 4 years now, and she was ready to let go. Ronald Scott, the most unrestrained man in New York City. He was not a scientist, but he played a decisive role in the field of science. No one had ever called him a rich brat. He had pushed his enterprise to a peak that it had never reached before. Scientist, a rich brat, CEO, any of those names were both fitting and inappropriate for him. This man was a multi-talented genius.
My wife has beautiful handwriting. Divorce.
Looks like it.
Are you saying I was dumped?
Sam's legs turned to jelly. He would love to say yes, but then he maybe is the one getting dumped off this 80-story building.
Have I not given her enough to spend?
$3 million every month transferred to her account on time, sir.
And have I not given her enough to wear?
Mrs. Scott receives the latest couture from Paris, no later than 3 days from its initial release.
And what about her life? Have I not given her a good life then?
7 maids, 1 mansion, a personal chauffeur, and a position at Scott's bank. She is the head of the branch.
Well then, tell me, Sam. Why the divorce?
Sam did not know the answer, but Ronald did. It was another annoying trick of Kate's. He was prone to believe that Kate was using some sort of reverse psychology on him. Kate was ready to leave the Scott mansion. She did not bring much when she moved in, and she would only take what belonged to her. Kate's heart no longer pounded when she saw him. Ronald stared at his wife as he got out of the car.
Miss Peters, please get my jacket from the car. Thank you.
Kate's eyes were one of her outstanding features, and they were the only physical attribute that had attracted Ronald. It was fair to say she was different from Ronald's rumored girlfriends. Yet, Ronald had never really cheated on Mrs. Scott, despite the numerous love rumors. Having said that, he did not show her any affection. They did not get married because of love. It was just a matter of convenience for both of them. Would he have married her if it was not for his mother?
Cut to the chase. What sort of games are you playing?
Not truly understanding what he meant, Kate's mind went blank for a second. Trick? Another trick of hers? She was supposed to feel sad, but she smiled.
You're overthinking.
I'm overthinking. You're on touring with me, are you? Reverse psychology, maybe?
If suggesting a divorce embarrasses you so much, then file the papers instead.
Seriously, you really want to divorce me?
Kate wanted to step back as he drew closer. She did not feel any warmth from his tone.
I had to get Sam to hand you the divorce papers and you didn't even show up. All you have to do is sign.
All I had to do. You're acting as if this means nothing to you, Kate. Just come here.
Ronald! Ronald!
Why are you being like this? It's like you're determined to get a divorce.
No, let go of me. This is not right. This
Oh.
is not right. Ow!
Kate, you're still Mrs. Scott. You're still my wife.
I have the right to say no.
What, this? More reverse psychology, huh?
Get off!
All right. Yeah.
Hey, Ronnie, I'm just getting a little bit nervous about this event tomorrow night.
Kate quietened to listen to the call. It was Emily, the girl Kate had thought Ronald truly loved. Ronald had made Emily into the person she was now.
You'll be fine. Sam and I'll pick you up. You'll be okay.
Let go of me. Let go of me!
Is Miss Scott there?
Look, why don't you just invite her tomorrow night?
You know, people keep seeing us together, they're gonna think we're getting married.
No, you're right. I really bring Mrs. Scott out. I'll let Sam pick you up tomorrow. You get a good night's sleep.
I didn't say yes. Ow!
Ronnie!
Emily called out his name in disbelief. She only said those things to humiliate Kate. Why would she want Kate to be there?
Are you serious? He literally just said he's gonna bring her. He just said he's gonna bring that crazy woman to that event tomorrow night.
Why do we even care? Like, everybody thinks that, they don't get all well together. Yeah, and, she's as good as Mr. Scott's mistress, not his wife. Oh, and don't forget, he stood up for you a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you're right. I can make her cry and want to leave again.
Molly smiled in satisfaction. She prayed that Emily would marry Ronald, so she could benefit from their marriage.
You always moan, and I never take you to these types of events. And now I'm suggesting it.
I didn't want to disturb Mr. Scott and Miss Taylor.
Well, Mrs. Scott seems to be so concerned about the rumors of an affair.
It was already 3 p.m. when Kate woke up. The soreness in her body was telling her that it was not a dream last night. She had sex with the man she was going to divorce.
Mrs. Dorothy, don't we have a robot vacuum cleaner? You don't have to do this all by yourself.
It's fine, it's what I'm used to doing. I must say, your wife is a nice lady. Not to sound harsh, but I don't know why she married you.
Yeah, well, she's the one being difficult. A nice lady, Kate. Why does everyone in this house like her so much?
Kate walks downstairs wearing a shirt with long sleeves and jeans which covered her whole body. Ronald knew it was to cover the love bites he had left on her body on purpose. Ronald gave her a disapproving look.
Mr. Pym, please throw out her wardrobe. I'm going to take her to get something suitable for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kim, you shall not touch my clothes. Thank you. Let's go.
All right. Good afternoon. Please look after Mrs. Scott. I've got to take a call.
That's Mrs. Scott. No wonder he's having that hair. Poor Mr. Scott. Yeah, you would imagine his wife to be more beautiful, right, Cisco? You're right, she's so plain compared to our Snow White Miss Emily. But don't underestimate her. She might have had some skills to seduce Mr. Scott. But yeah, she would better do it, right?
Excuse me, do you have this in my size?
Oh, this one. Sorry, ma'am. This dress has exclusively arrived for very special clients.
Well, surely you must have more of them.
Like she said, there is only one. It's delivered on a special order. Oh, listen, Aniel, come here to me. You came at the right time to stay long.
She was undeniably beautiful, Kate thought.
This dress arrived just this morning. Here it is. Somebody even laid their hands on it when I had to tell them off.
Thanks. Aren't you Miss Carter? Or are you looking for something to wear to the event tonight? You know, the one I told Ronnie to bring you to? You know, it's funny, we keep going for the same things. And yet somehow they always end up with me. But of course I am talking about the dress. You know, if you like, we could, swap it for something of yours, Miss Carter.
Oh, you're talking about my husband. How obscure. You know what? Sure, you can have it. He's rejected goods now anyway.
What are you talking about?
I'm divorcing him. And with me out the way, let's see if he'll marry you now.
Emily knew in her heart that Ronald would never marry her. She was infuriated.
You cheap.
Your Ronnie is standing right behind you. Oh, I'm sorry. Must be somebody who looks like Ronald.
You're despicable, Kate.
Is that all you have? I hope you are talking as Mrs. Scott the next time you try to confront me. Otherwise, you're just a homewrecker.
Just then the two women saw Ronald standing within earshot. Kate was nervous for a moment, and then she calmed down. So what if he had heard? She had nothing to fear now. Ronald stared at this woman who was suddenly so determined for a divorce.
Well, honey, she literally just hit me for no reason.
Kate?
So what if I slapped her? What are you gonna do about it?
The old her would beg for his trust. Years ago, she had begged him to trust her, but he had not, repeatedly telling him that she did not push Emily in the river. She will not do that anymore.
Oh, look. Mrs. Scott's finally learned to be honest. I am so very proud.
It also looks like Mr. Scott has learned his patience, as he's not jumping to defend Emily immediately. I am proud of you two.
Kate wanted to step back, but stood there, defending her very last piece of pride. She had decided to regain the pride that she had lost 2 years ago.
You called her a homewrecker. Now you have to believe I'm yours, and only yours. This silly divorce business that can be put out of our minds. Alright? If you accept what I said, then you have to apologize for hitting her. If not, you can skip the apology.
Ronald was waiting. waiting for her to admit that this was just a game to get his attention. Kate knew, so she was relaxed.
I am sorry, Miss Taylor. I didn't mean to.
Inner beauty. It's a good thing, Kate. Don't lose it.
Thank you for the reminder. Dignity is also a good thing, Ronald. Don't lose it either.
Emily observed the two anxiously. She didn't want to stay here any longer. The current Kate was different from the one who constantly bowed to Ronald in the past.
Howdy. Let's go. We're gonna be late.
Sir.
Can you send the dress to the house, please?
Look, here's the deal. If you attend the cocktail party tonight and don't cause me any problems, I promise you, I'll sign the divorce papers. Emily?
Kate stared at Ronald walking away with Emily. It was exactly like 2 years ago, on that night when he had left her alone like a fool.
Sam, where are you supposed to follow us?
My apologies, Mr. Scott.
As Sam began driving, he looked at the endlessly weeping Emily, wrapped in Ronald's embrace. He felt that he must have missed a major Hollywood drama. The cocktail party was organized by the commercial tycoon, Mr. Gavin Burker, to commemorate the signing of a contract with Scott Enterprises. The participants attending this cocktail party were all business tycoons. After obtaining information about the event on the news and confirming the hotel venue, she is slightly anxious about having to see Ronald and Emily together again. But she knows she has to do this to get out of this marriage. However, she had underestimated the degree of Ronald's despicable scheming. Kate looked at the two people who were embracing each other. She used the pain caused by her fingertips that were almost piercing through her palm to remind herself to not feel sad because of this man. It was not worth it.
Miss, you alright?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks.
Oh, Mr. Collins. You've arrived. Mr. Scott and Mr. Barker have been waiting for you.
Mr. Collins? Jake Collins? Kate had an idea.
Hey, Mr. Collins. Hi, I'm an employee of Scott Enterprise. Look, there's a matter for which I really need to contact Mr. Burker's secretary, but my phone's flat, so there's no way for me to contact them. Can you please let me inside?
Jake gazed at her pleading eyes and his body trembled.
Saving someone is more meritorial than building churches. Come inside with me.
It would be fine as long as she could safely hide until the end of the event, which meant that she would have accomplished her end of the bargain between them. She could then get a divorce, Kate thought.
Jake! Hey, man. Didn't you arrive a little while ago? You're coming over now.
Hey, how are ya?
I was getting more and more beautiful.
Stop it.
Yeah, she is.
It was nothing, man. I just met a beautiful lady out there and spoke to her for a bit.
Okay, alright.
Oh.
That her? Alright.
He's the worst.
Mr. and Mrs. Burker, an elderly couple in their 70s, had built an empire from scratch. They had been with each other through thick and thin.
Today is my last day
at the hotel. I have just signed the last business deal for this hotel. I would like to thank Mr. Scott for giving me the opportunity.
It's thanks to you we had an opportunity to make a profit, Mr. Berger.
Gavin Berger was a massive brand. He had built the resort that was steadily making a profit. But Mr. Berger had also brought Scott Enterprise together in business. This was clearly to let Scott Enterprise make a profit as well.
Mr. Scott, you deserve all the opportunity from me. Tonight, I'd like to tell you all a story. Please turn on the projector.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Berger, I got caught up with something. Here's your little contract.
Oh, please don't be sorry. This hotel's closing down. We are the ones who need a favor.
Well, here is your offer letter from the bank.
Mr. Scott's bank is offering me a loan. What happens if we run out of money?
Well, we had to have a week to review your application. We had to assess the hotel's reputation and performance. I'm so sorry I wasn't here earlier. I had to go back to Houston for my husband's birthday, but I'm here now and here you go.
So I've got my hotel. Well, Frankie.
Nice working with you.
It was wonderful working with you, Sue.
Not a problem, Mr. Berger.
Oh, that's great.
Good luck with everything, okay?
Well, I thank you too.
Ronald stared at Kate's bleeding arm as the video froze on her. He remembered his birthday, 2 years ago.
That girl saved my hotel. Mr. Scott, you probably don't remember that girl. She was one of your many employees. Mr. Scott's bank was the only bank to offer me a loan. All the other banks had refused.
Emily knew that Kate had gotten that wound on her arm when she had pushed her into the middle of the road 2 years ago. Ronald had no idea about the accident and seemed to lose interest in Kate around that time.
Mr. Scott undeniably helped my hotel, but that employee, without doubt, made the Gavin Berger Hotel through and through. Therefore, Mr. Scott's bank cannot take all the credit. But on a lighter note, ladies and gentlemen, because it's so wonderful to see you all here today, because it's been a real pleasure.
He was not sure if he was impressed with her capability to sneak in, or angry that she showed up to the event.
I'm quite surprised you had a video of me like that. Thank you for remembering me.
We should be thanking you. If you should ever need any help in the future, just let me know.
Mr. Berger, Mrs. Berger. Tricks are getting better, Kate. I don't want any problems at this party.
Well, you didn't exactly specify where we can get divorced in this place.
So you demand a divorce on the one hand. I'm planning to arrive with Gavin on the other? If this isn't some way of trying to get my attention, I don't know what is.
I don't know where Gavin got that video from, and I don't know why he played it here.
Since you are here, follow me and why don't we show these wonderful people just how capable you are as my wife.
Since you don't care about getting embarrassed anymore, I don't see why I should be worried.
She knew that Ronald wanted to embarrass her. She knew that she was never supposed to be at places like this. She wanted him to see that she was a different woman now. Not the doormat with no voice he had known all these years.
Kate, is that all you could find to wear? How embarrassing. Embarrassing? Isn't it embarrassing cozying up to someone's husband? You know, you always did blame Ronnie for not wanting to bring you to events like this, but look at you. Who would want to bring you and be embarrassed?
Kate was wise enough to know that Emily could not start a fight if she said nothing.
Did you just walk away from me? Listen, I have a deal with Ronald that if I can make it through the night without making any trouble, then he will sign the divorce papers. And that's what you wanted, wasn't it? So let's just get through the night without having any trouble. Okay? Nice try. Kate! You didn't need to do that.
You know, it's no wonder Ronald brings me to these events and not you. You always do cause such a scene.
Kate looked up and saw Ronald standing with a glass of whiskey calmly in his hand. He looked at Kate with a sarcastic smile dawning upon his face. Kate's eyes met his, and they both knew Ronald had just won the bet.
Don't let your excitement die! The full audio series is on the Pocket FM app. Tap the link in the description to install now.